Hi, I'm Mike Handverker with Tricky Fast Studios. Today, I'm going to continue our videos on the navigation system in Cat Game Builder. This time, we're going to discuss the node-based pathfinding solution. By the end of this video, you should be able to set up a network of nodes for pathing, add a player, and have the player path through the nodes to get from point A to point B. Now, this system can be used in 3D or it can be used in 2D. Typically, you would use it in 2D because in 3D you would just want to use a nav mesh, and that's much easier to deal with. So let's look at this. We have the scene. We have a little player character. We have a background with some obstacles. And then we have a camera set up with the two-dimensional camera on it so that it's going to follow our player. But the player currently is just a state machine and doesn't move. The first thing you're going to want to do is add the pathing service. So cat new services pathing service. Oops. And then we want to change the default pathing type to waypoint. The next thing we're going to do is add some waypoints to the scene. You can do that by creating an empty game object. Let's call it waypoint. And then adding the waypoint component to it. Now let's move this onto the path here. Let's create another one halfway down the path, and then create one at the intersection. Create another one. I'm just hitting Control D to duplicate this. And then we can create another one over here. And we want to make sure you get at least one at each intersection. And then one at each corner. Do one there? Not sure. Let's see if we did one over there. Did not. Okay, we'll make one right there. One there. One there. One there. And one there. Okay, so now we've basically filled out this path. The next thing we need to do is connect them up. This is the difficult part of this system. So waypoint 1 and 2. So waypoint 1 and 2 are neighbors. You've got to figure out which ones can connect to each other. So waypoint 1 and waypoint 2 can connect to each other. So we're going to add some neighbors. So waypoint 1 is a neighbor to waypoint 2. Or waypoint is a neighbor to waypoint 1. And waypoint 1 is a neighbor to waypoint, but also to waypoint 2. So let's add another one here. And waypoint 2 is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 neighbors. One of them is going to be waypoint 1. One of them is going to be waypoint 3. One of them is going to be waypoint 4. And the other one's going to be waypoint 11. So now you can see when you connect these up, it actually draws a line between them. And in fact, this looks like it should go more in the center. So we can see the whole path here, path system here. So waypoint 3 only connects to waypoint 2. Waypoint 4 is going to have 1, 2 connections. One of them is going to be waypoint 2, and the other one is going to be waypoint 5. And waypoint 5 has 1, 2, 3, 4 connections. One of them is going to be waypoint 4, waypoint 6, waypoint 7, and waypoint 8. Now let's switch to waypoint 6, which only has 1 connecting back to waypoint 5. Waypoint 7 also only has 1, also connecting back to waypoint 5. Waypoint 8 is going to have 2, which is going to be 5, and I'm going to guess 9. Yep. And 9 has 1, which is waypoint 8. And 10 is over here. 10 is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. One of them is going to be 11. One of them is going to be 12. 14. And 15. Waypoint 11 has 2, which is going to be 10 and 2, I think. Yep. Waypoint 12 also has 2, which is going to be 10 and 13. Waypoint 13 only has 1, which is 12. Waypoint 14 only has 1, which is 10. And waypoint 15 also only has 1, which is 10. Alright, so now we've completely mapped out our paths here. The next thing we want to do is, let's move the player onto the path, and then we can start filling out the player. So the first thing we need to do is add a waypoint pathing manager to the player. This is the same one we used with the pathing grid, because under the hood this pathing is the same type of pathing. So I can set our animation target to owner and path, and set body. We want to emit the diagonal movement events. We want to set the group to default. And then walk animation parameter is walk. And then the speed multiplier is just 0. And then on our state machine here, we want a trigger here for mouse button. And when that triggers, we want a set navigation destination action here. We want to do that continuous. We want the target to be the owner, so that this is the player. And then the destination, we want to set to options, use mouse. Okay. And then the group is going to be default. So now we should path around when we click. Now before we give this a try, we just want to make sure that all of these waypoints are at the right Z, because this is a 3D pathing system. So we're going to set them to the same Z offset as the player. And then let's give it a try. Now the next thing we can do is similar to the other video with the grid pathfinding, is that we can make the player flip around depending on which way she's walking. So we're going to add a triggered action, or a trigger, for waypoint pathing agent direction. And then for triggering directions, we're going to add southwest, west, northwest. So that's it, only be 3. And then action, we're going to use the scale action again. And we're actually going to add 2 of them, just as we did before. We're going to set one of them to be an else action. We're going to turn off Y and Z on all of them. And the else action is going to have the scale set to 1. And the regular action is going to have it set to -1. So that should flip the player back and forth. You can see it goes back and forth depending on where it's going. Alright, that about wraps it up for the waypoint pathing system in Cat Game Builder. In this video, you should have learned how to set up waypoint pathing, add path nodes, connect them together, and then set a player to follow those path nodes. I hope you found this video informative and useful. Let us know in the comments if there are other videos or tutorials you'd like to see. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media for the latest videos and other news. For more information on CAT and how it can help you build and prototype games faster, please visit catgamebuilder.com. I'm Mike Handberger with Tricky Fast Studios. Thanks for watching.